The reason being long-term compensation because they want their employees to be with them. You are really good and they really want you, they go with competency-based compensation. What is the difference between salary and wages if you understand? Salary is a fixed amount and wages, it is not fixed, it is variable. That's why it varies. Any amount from the employer to the employee or to the laborer, that we call it as what? Compensation. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for this very session about the first chapter of compensation and performance management, which is the human resource management 1. Now here we'll go with the introduction, that is the compensation, what exactly compensation is and the performance management is all about. So here in this chapter itself, we will understand how and why the laborers or the employees should be compensated on the basis of their work, or why is that they are getting more than what they were supposed to get it. So here we will actually learn. So the first one here, the meaning of compensation. What is the meaning of compensation in the sense? It's very simple, I'll just tell you. Employer is there, employees are there, as well as laborer also there. What is the difference between employee and a laborer is? Employee will get salary and laborers will get wages. So what is the difference between salary and wages if you understand? Salary is a fixed amount and wages, it is not fixed, it is variable. That's why it varies. It depends on hourly basis. Say there is a person who is working as a laborer, you will give him the remuneration or the wages according to what he has performed. Suppose in a day he has performed like only for 2 hours he has worked for you, you will give him only for 2 hours. That is for 1 hour how much? Into those many hours which he has worked. But whereas salary, when I say employees, right? So employees will get a fixed amount at the end of the month. They'll not get like everyday payment or a weekly payment. They'll get what? In a month, the end is what they're gonna get it. And the salary is fixed, right? And they can have incentives, they can have benefits, they can have any kind of other things, right? But salary is always fixed. When it comes to laborers, the wages depends on the nature, first thing. Second thing, how many hours they have worked. Next, what is exactly they had their contract. We call that as the labor contract, right? Now here in laborers, what happens is when it comes to compensation or with respect to the salary compensation is, there is an employer. I'll just draw for you people so that you will understand. Here there is a person called employer, okay? Now here we have laborers and here we have employees. So compensation in the sense, whatever the work the employee has done, whatever the work the laborer has done, and because of the work what they have done, what is that the employer gives? That is called compensation. Because they have done something for the employer, so the employer is giving them. So any amount from the employer to the employee or to the laborer, that we call it as what? Compensation. So compensation refers to the total package of rewards and benefits that an employee receives in exchange for their contribution to an organization. So whatever it is, right? It can be, say, money or money's worth. So the entire thing, that is called compensation. So the entire reward. So whatever the employer gives to the employee, because the employer has worked for it, so that is called compensation. So when we go with the next one here, please understand, I told you about the meaning of compensation. Now we need to go with classification of compensation. Now what exactly the classification of compensation management is all about? First one, we go with internal versus external equity, monetary versus non-monetary compensation, direct versus indirect compensation, fixed versus variable compensation, short-term versus long-term compensation. So here, please understand, Whenever we go with compensation, please don't consider yourself saying that compensation is only for employees. No, it is for both employees as well as laborers. So here say we have laborers and here we have employees. So internal versus external equity. See, the company which is owned by the employer, or it can be a private company or a public company, they always have something called equity, right? So internal equity in the sense within the company, they give their equity. External equity in the sense they buy from some other company. So that is what, again, it's a form of compensation. Second thing, if you go with it, monetary means what? Money. Non-monetary is money's worth. Say example, we have something, say monetary benefits we have. So the employer felt that because you did something called the sales target you have reached, so I'll be giving you 1 lakh rupees. So that is monetary compensation. So that means he has given 1 lakh rupees. Now there are few employers, they will not give monetary benefits. Instead they give non-monetary. What exactly the non-monetary is? A trip to Singapore for 4 days and 5 nights. So he has not given you 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, but he has given you a ticket, flight ticket is from the company. So that is non-monetary compensation. Next we have is the same way, direct versus indirect compensation, the same kind of a thing. Whenever they go with any direct compensation because of what you have achieved, right, and they would have asked for it, say the sales target or any kind of a thing, they felt that you are doing really good. To retain the employees, they always go with direct or indirect compensation. Now fixed and variable. Fixed in the sense, again same, any employee who works in the organization and after 5 years, if you work and you get an experience, you will be getting 2 lakh rupees in your salary base, that is added to it. Say you have a salary of 10 lakh rupees, after 5 years, all the people will get increment of say 2 lakh rupees. So that is fixed. 2 lakh is what? Fixed. Now variable in the sense, it depends on how you are, whether you are skilled, you are unskilled, you are really a dynamic person. So it varies more than 2 lakhs or less than 2 lakh. So there is a variation. It is not fixed. That is called the variable compensation. Short term versus long term. I told you long term, right? 5 years. Many companies till now I have seen, and those companies, what they do is they always target the long-term compensation rather than short-term compensation. The reason being long-term compensation because they want their employees to be with them. So that is the reason they always say, okay, long-term compensation, you work for 5 years, you will get something, the company is looking at you. That is what it is, exactly a trap is what I always tell my students. But long-term compensation for a very good companies, that means you should have that capability, capacity, compassion and a passion to work in this organization. Only then those people will get what? The long-term compensation. Short-term compensation is like very fast, like within 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, they're gonna give you the compensation. So that is what the classification of compensation management here is. And the next one, when we go with the next pointer here, that is performance based versus seniority based compensation. See, the way you perform and the seniority base. See, everything is related to the same kind of a points. That is what it is. Skill based versus job based. According to the job profile, they compensate. According to the skill base. When I say skill based, what are the skill based? You have few skills, like you have skilled, you have unskilled, you have semi-skilled, right? So according to those, they also classify and they give a compensation. Then competency based versus market based compensation. Now say example, now you are working in Infosys and there is a company which again go with the same work of Infosys. So you are working in Infosys and you felt that your friend who is working in some other company, they are getting more compensation. The reason being is what? It is all about the competency based as well as the market based compensation. Seeing the market, Infosys will also give you the compensation. So that is called market based compensation. And if you are really good and they really want you, they go with competency based compensation. Exempt versus non-exempt compensation, individual versus team-based compensation. Individual compensation rarely occurs, right? It is like there are 300 employees, so 4 or 5 employees will get what? The individual compensation, but majority it is always the team-based compensation, because the organization will never encourage something called as the negative competition. They always want a positive competition. So what happens is they're gonna give a team-based compensation. That's why you have a person called TL, team leader, and he will make sure the entire team works united. So this is what it is, right? So please do understand all these things. Next is types of compensation. What are the types? How compensation goes with? We have classified. Now, what are exactly the types? The first is the base salary. According to the salary, they will go with it. Variable pay, benefits, any benefits given to the employer or the laborer, that is also is termed as compensation, because it is the entire thing. Whatever you see here, whatever the employer gives to his employees, all those things, because the employee has worked in the organization, so everything is called what? Compensation. So understand this component. Incentive programs, recognition and rewards, prerequisites, that is the perks is what we say, career development opportunity, non-monetary rewards, everything is what? The types of compensation. Your basic salary, your variable pay, extra kind of a thing, benefits, incentives, recognition and awards, saying best manager, best sales manager for a week, best employee of the year. All these are what? The rewards and recognition. Career development opportunity. There are so many companies which particularly they go with career development opportunity. That is, say you finish your undergraduate, you are B.B.A student, you finished it, you went to a company and you're working in the company. After 2 years, they check what exactly the ability you have, what is the extra skill you have. Are you the street smart? Are you the person whom they want to retain for at least 5 years, 6 years or 10 years? So what they do is they're gonna give you a hint. Do you want to study further is what they're gonna ask you, right? They'll never come and ask you directly. Somewhere there is a person who's a HR manager, and this person or anybody, whoever is the senior most member in that particular team, they'll come, they'll ask you, and you, the way you answer, right, that should make them feel that you want to pursue, but you want to come back also. So what they do is, there are so many companies I have seen, and even you people can Google it, you will get to know about what exactly it is. There are so many companies who gives the chance for all the employees, or the employees whom they feel they are deserving, they'll give 2 years post-graduation course for free. Like, it is the company which gonna give sponsorship, that is 100% to 50% scholarship. They're gonna take care of you, and what is that they're gonna do is, they'll tell you 2 years you go abroad, you get your masters, and you are supposed to come back, and at least you need to work for 5 years minimum. See, again, they make a kind of agreement. So that is also what? A kind of compensation itself. Next, we have the wages for whom? For the laborers. Durance allowance, we call it as DA. So you would have heard about DA, TA, right? Traveling allowance, the same way. Social security, recruitment plan, pension plan. See, this pension plan is also a compensation. After you get retired, right, your company feels that when you are in prime of your age, prime of your life, you gave everything to the company. Now that you are crossed the 60, now you can't work. Now who should take care? The company will take care because of the pension plan which they have gone with. The profit sharing, stock bonus plan, employee stock ownership plan. See, ESOP is a 2 marks question. Please never neglect this. What exactly it is you are supposed to know. Individual retirement accounts, that is called IRA. Individual retirement account, IRA. So if you go to www.ira.com, you will get to know about the pension schemes, what has happened in the entire India as well, right? Next, employee stock ownership plan, what exactly it is? A 2 marks question, what is ESOP? A 10 marks question, they're gonna give you something more and you are supposed to explain a lot. So the question will be somewhere like this, right? So what is ESOP? So you are supposed to go with 2 marks. ESOP stands for Employee Stock Ownership Plan, which is an retirement plan that allows employees to become partial owners of the company they work for. ESOP are the form of employee benefit plan and a specific type of employee ownership. If you write, you will get 2 marks. Next, employee motivation and engagement, retention of key talent, succession planning, tax advantage, and improved corporate culture. That is the use of ESOP. Next, the same way here, if you go with ESOP, what all are the benefits? The next kind of a thing which you are supposed to know is, it also go with retirement tool, alignment of interests, retirement savings for employees, enhanced company image, because of ESOP, your goodwill of the company will increase, right? Flexibility in exit strategy. So any kind of a thing, you can actually go with it. That is how the ESOP will work. Next is 3P compensation. So 3P compensation is a 10 marks question. Please do understand this, what exactly the 3P concept is all about. So whenever we go with 3P concept of compensation, the first, please do understand, we have according to the position, according to the performance, according to the person. So how a compensation is done? Not because of a person, right? First they go with what? According to the position. So there is a position and that's the reason we actually give a compensation. Then that position, how is that person is performing, right? That you will actually give compensation. And then the last is what? The person himself. See, I'll give you an example here, though it is like out of the syllabus, but still I'll just want you people to understand this 3P concept. Say you are a person who is, say, 50 plus age is what you have, right? And there is a court and there will be a judge. And the judge is a person who is somewhere around 36 or 37 years of age. So when you are in court, or you would have seen in movies, the minute the judge comes, everybody stands. Now it is not because of the person. It is not because of the performance of the judge. It is only because of the position. The position is what? Judge. And even a lawyer who is, say, 60 plus in the Supreme Court itself, the minute judge comes who is, say, 42 or 43 year, this lawyer should also stand. The reason is, it is because of the position what the judge has, right? So please understand the first 3P concept, compensation, the first thing is called, it is the position. And then we go with what? The performance, and the last one is the person himself. So this model recognizes the multifaceted nature of employee contributions and aims to create a fair, competitive and motivating compensation structure within the organization. So here in the 3P concept, I told you about the position as the first one, right? Now, in the position, what is to be considered is the job evaluation. They will evaluate the job properly. Marketing or the market pricing and the internal equity. So these are the 3 things which will happen in the position compensation. Next is performance compensation. In that, what will happen is the performance appraisal system is there, merit pay system and incentive program. So all these are listed in which one? That is performance. That is the second one. And the last one here we have is the person. Now when it comes to person, how will you evaluate the person? It is all about 2 things. One is the quality. Another is quantity. See, quality can be graded. You can only grade. It can be graded. Quantity can be measured. So the difference between quality and quantity is, quality can never be measured. It can only be graded or rated. We can also say what? Rated. First rank, second rank, all these are quality, rated. But quantity, say 70 kg, 500 kg, all those are what? Quantity. So this is what it is. And when we come to the person, what happens? We actually grade him on the basis of the skills, experience based compensation. How many years has he worked in that particular field? So on the basis of the experience, we're gonna give him the compensation. Education and qualification. Have he done, say, example, there is a person who has done UG and there is a person who has done PG. What should be the compensation of a person who is UG and a PG? A simple question for you people, right? Now this person has finished only, say, B.B.A. and there is this person who has finished, say, MBA. My question is, who should get more compensation, a MBA student or a BBA student? So the answer is, who should get more compensation? A person who has done MBA. Reason is what? Because of the education as well as the qualification. When it comes to experience, say this UG person who has finished BBA, he has an experience of say 25 years, right? And the PG person, he has only experience of 1. But still, see, understand, this MBA guy only will get more salary. That is the beauty of this. Persons are taken consideration based on, that is because he has done what? The PG. Though he has done BBA 25 years. That's why I tell all my students, please study. Please get your master's degree. But one thing I'll tell you, even a BBA student can be an entrepreneur and hire these MBA people and give less price. That depends on you, right? But still, when you go for a company setup, right, a PG student will always get more than the UG student. That is what the reality is. And there are so many companies also. What they do is, because this person has a 25 years of experience of the work, so he'll be getting more than the person who has done MBA and he has only 1 year experience. There are companies, I'm not telling that no company gonna give more salary. I'm telling you, there are n number of companies, they go with their own way of compensation. So that is how it is. It depends on the person. Next, we have compensation has retention strategy. Retention strategy in the sense retaining the employee. So the first one is competitive based salaries they're gonna give, performance based bonuses they're gonna offer, profit sharing programs is what they're gonna launch, and stock option and equity grants they're gonna give. The last one is retention bonuses is what they're gonna give. So that is how you will retain this employees. That is a strategy which they do it. Continue, we'll go with the career development opportunities, flexible compensation package. It is not like rigid. There is again a flexibility. It depends on employer to employer. Recognition and rewards programs is always mandatory. See, that's why whenever you go to any car showroom, right, or two-wheeler showrooms, you will have a notice board where you will have the employees' photos saying employee of the year, employee of the month, employee of the week. Why? Because to enlighten those people that whoever are working are always being recognized. Health and wellness benefits. See, this is a very important point, right? Health and wellness benefits. There are so many companies who gives the health and wellness benefits, like they pay for the gym, they pay for the trekking, they pay for the medical insurance. So all these are kind of compensation. Retirement and pension plan is also a retention strategy by the employer. By whom? By the employer. So that the employees will work because they'll get what? The security. They get security. That is what type of security? The job security is what they're gonna get. Next, here we have the compensation issues. What exactly are the issues of compensation? The first one is the pay equity, the market competitiveness, salary compression, transparency, and benefits alignment. So these are the issues when it comes to the compensation. Now, performance measurement. There are a few people who will not measure properly, right? Legal compliances, employee turnover. This is actually a very important point, employee turnover. That is, how many employees have come and how many employees have gone. So this is what the employee turnover is. Employee turnover. That is your inflow and the outflow. So that is where the issues will happen, right? The number of inflow, if it is less and the outflow is more, there is an issue in the compensation. You will actually figure it out. Budget constraints. Now you want to compensate more, but your budget is not able to allow you. Global compensation challenge. See, this happened with Infosys. Narayan Murthy, he said that 70% of people, whoever are working in the MNC company, they really don't know how exactly the work should be allotted. And he also says 70 hours a week you are supposed to work. So please understand here, 70 hours per week you are supposed to work. And very recently we got update that whoever were working in Infosys for so many years, their salary was not hiked the way it was supposed to be hiked, though they worked really hard, right? The reason is what? It is a budget constraints. Global compensation challenges. There are so many other companies who give more. Now globally, if you go with it, there is always a challenge. Say example, Twitter, Tesla, there is always a challenge about it. Addressing compensation, how is that you people need to go forward? That is, one is regular market analysis. You need to check how the competitor is paying, pay equity audits. And the next one we have is communication and transparency. Many companies, they avoid communicating with the employees. That is a problem actually, but we are supposed to have the full transparency. That is what the HR need to understand. There should be communication and transparency. And then benefits surveys. You are supposed to always check what are the benefits you are giving, whether it is say 5 rupees, 10 rupees, whatever it is. The benefit surveys should be done. Whatever is the new thing which we are supposed to compensate to the employees, how better we can actually manage the employees, you should always go for it. Training and performance evaluation. Every time whenever you go for training and performance evaluation, the evaluation committee should be formed and they should evaluate whether the employees are getting benefit out of the training development or they are not getting it. So that is where it should go with. Next is legal compliances, reviews. Whenever there is a legal compliance, there should be a review about it, retention analysis, budget planning, global compensation strategy, continuous review and improvement. See, without reviewing what you people have done and without improving on the demerits, the compensation will not be an effective tool for retention of the employees. So please be careful with this. Next is organizational, that is internal, right? Internal, which affects compensation strategy. Internally, how it will affect. That is organizational goals and objectives, budgetary constraint, company culture, performance management system, employee demographics and composition. So here, please understand, internally, whenever we go for any type of compensation, the organization should always understand that how much better is what we are supposed to go with compensation. So here when we go with that, the goal and objective should be clearly mentioned. The budgetary, whatever it is, the constraints should be explained properly. The culture of the company should be laid down to all the employees. That is how we will go with organization, that is internal, which affects the compensation strategy. Now, when we go with this internal, we have what? Retention and turnover rates, leadership, philosophy are there, employee engagement level, organization structure, unionization and collective bargaining agreement should also be there. When it comes to the last one, that is the external, how the external will have an effect here, please understand. Market condition and industry trends, that will always change. There is always ups and downs, right? Labor market conditions will be different. Legal and regulatory environment will always change. Economic condition will change. Competitive practice will also change. So these are what? That will affecting the compensation strategy of the company because of external factors. Now here, because of globalization, technological advance, right? Compensation will also change. Employee performance and expectation, political and socio-economic factor, industry specifics. So all these will actually affect what? The strategy of compensation. Now this is how you are supposed to analyze 15 marks question, you'll be getting 10 marks also in this same chapter. 2 marks, you'll be getting only 1 question. So this is how the chapter is. If any doubt you have in this chapter, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.